Hello and welcome to the Untitled Adhesion Round 3, Season 3 of our GT3s. Get the hint there. We're now at Suzuka and almost at the halfway stage. Tonight on the co-commentary we've got Random Dave again. So how are you doing, Dave?
Doing alright. Just had my kids' parents' evening.
That must have been an absolutely fantastic experience.
Yeah, to realise that they don't take well to criticism. That's what I've taken away from it. But apparently they just hate it when they're criticised and told that they're doing anything wrong.
Right. Well,
I don't know anybody else like that.
We'll soon find out when our drivers receive some penalties. So on we go. We'll have a look at the points after the second round. Andris Füellgrabe sitting on the top with 129 points, Stephen Greening on 106. Rhys Creighton of the Risky Racing Orange team on 92 with Ollie Walker behind it for the Bumblebees. So all to play for is as we approach the halfway stage. Have you got any favourites for Suzuka, Dave?
Well, Mr. Miller, Robert Miller, he really likes Suzuka, so I expect him to be faster. But but obviously the usual suspects as well. Greening.
Yeah, got to be up there definitely after his win in the first race. I think now we'll go on to the championship standings as they stand at the second round. So Risky Racing Blue on 170 points, with Bumblebees closing them down with 140 points. Black Pink sitting in third place with 190 with the A team, and Risky Racing Orange also not too far behind. Can afford a amount of late charge, we'll soon find out, as the guys are just finishing their parade laps. How do you think the season's gone for the A team so far, Dave?
Well, mixed, I think, really. I think there's a lot of fast drivers now, and I think it's a lot more difficult for Line to get, kind of a win or even a podium. And I think that there's been a little bit of bad luck on the other side of the garage a little bit as well.
Could well be, yeah. Sam Stott has received a penalty from the stewards for using a third car, so he'll be in an unknown car today that he's not used to driving in this championship. Do you think there's any specific manufacturer that's going to have an advantage on this track, Dave?
Well, I mean, I think we had a look at the VRS times, the VRS target times. And it looked like the Audi was quite good and the Ferrari's quite good, and the McLaren would be quite weak.
Alright, we'll soon find out. It is worth noting that some of the drivers did have an endurance race, I guess a couple of days before, so we'll expect them to feature high in positions. So the practice results: David Line sitting on top, 158.075 with Robert Miller. As you predicted, he's scoring up very highly. Lee Harding, I haven't seen him for a while, so he was on the new Sleepy Time Racing, only just about under half a second behind. We've got Rick Barrow joining in as well, Mitchell Day, one of the oval drivers as well, and I think we've got Manuel Cruz also joining us this evening. So welcome aboard to them, and we look forward to having them on for future races. So here we go. On pole position, David Line, Robert Miller, not even a change there from the top two, but Stephen Greening and Michael Messenger picking up their pace in the qualifying there. Adam Highfield and Oliver Walker lock out Bumblebees, third row, and Lee Harding and Rick Barrow, new to the race here, are on the fourth row. So we'll be looking for any bumps and scrapes in the first couple of laps as they get their engines ready.
It's the first time we've had an Audi on pole.
Wow, that is some achievement. Oh, quite a large grid tonight. I think it's about 24 people, 25 people. So great to see the league growing yet again. I think next season they're looking to split them into a Club 1500 and then obviously the top tier. So that'll be really great to see people contesting championships on all levels of ability. Question is Mr. T back on his gold livery? Is he taking the hat off, or the wig, I should say?
Well, I think that was on the McLaren, wasn't it? And it's the Audi this week, so I think he's probably sans hat today.
On a bit of a holiday then.
Yeah.
Nice to see we've got some of the original F3 drivers coming through, like Chris Forrester. He's now taking up the GT3s for a bit of extra practice. I think this track is going to be quite difficult for overtaking on the initial sections. You're really going to look down towards the back straight to make the moves, and possibly into turn 1 by outbraking your competitors.
Yeah, I think the last corner and the first corner pretty good in these cars for opportunities.
And there we see Mr. T. Pace cars in, and David Lyne has got off to a blistering start. He's almost up half a second on Rob Miller already. They're going 4, possibly 5 wide down the home straight there. It could be carnage if they don't watch their braking points, but David Lyne goes in confident in there with Rob Miller just making up a bit of a position on the corner there. Not too many drop downs there or position changes. They all seem to have got through relatively cleanly there.
To see how much more confident that Miller was on the through that first corner though.
Yeah, I suspect that might have came from the endurance race practice he might have had a couple of days earlier. As we see Oliver Ettridge, he's just went down the order. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not. So the top 3 start to pull away a little bit. Huge line going through the snake.
So definitely Miller and Highfield been doing endurance racing. I don't know about Greening or Messenger. I don't know if you know if they've.
I'm not too sure, if I'm honest, but of course they are GT3 specialists. They'll have a strong race no matter what, I think. But yeah, definitely Rob and Adam will carry that advantage, having quite a few practice laps put in. As we have a nice camera angle on here. That's one of the Risky Racing boys being chased down. I think it might be Michael Messenger being chased down by Lee Harding. As we're getting on board, going through 130R. No position changes on the top 10 or so.
It's been pretty clean so far, isn't it?
I'm surprised, yeah. Normally you look to take the advantage on the first couple of laps. No big moves yet.
And a surprising number of McLarens, actually. I noticed, with Highfield in a McLaren, and I think that's Malaren in one too.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so I think this might be the second race we've seen where McLarens have taken an appearance there. So perhaps those guys know something that we don't. There might be an advantage to having the McLaren.
Yeah, I mean, the VRS lap times indicated they were about half a second a lap off the pace, but then, you can have different conditions, and obviously you don't have the same driver doing those VRS lap times either, so,
That's correct. As we see a replay of Martin Balby just spinning it on the cold tyres. He's managed to keep it in one piece, and he's rejoined the track safely, so that's great. And the ledge going round Degner. Oh, and he's just collected someone there. And he's in the Mercedes today. That's new. And he's collected up again, Martin Balby and the ledge. It looks like you've collected themselves again. That's really, really unfortunate. Might be some aero damage on those guys. You notice Sam Stott's down the order, and Maren Hoogoven and Rhys Creighton are battling for position with Oliver Ettridge, as it looks like Maren's possibly went off the track and lost a couple of positions. Michael Messenger probably looking to pick up some more points to the Risky Racing Blue to maintain their lead at the top of the Constructor Championship. Whoa, and someone was going very wide coming off that bend there. And that's Turi's trying to squeeze round. Not quite making it, but he'll look to get the aero going down the home stretch. Some people still sporting their Hungary liveries, brightly coloured. Turi Milan looking to try and make the move around the outside. It's not quite working for him there. Turi definitely having a great season so far for the GT3, so a remarkable improvement from last season.
Particularly in Hungary, he was brilliant around there. Oh,
and here we go. He's creating, going off the track and collecting one of the other cars in the process. I think that was Mira who gave him. You're right, yeah. In the red car again this time.
That was unfortunate. And on the entry to that corner, if you just put the wheel the slightest bit on the curb, you're just gone.
Yes, and that was Charlie Langridge. I think he was chasing down Chris White, and he's lost the tail end again. As we see one of the Weavers go past.
So Miller's closing online there.
He is. This group of 5 are starting to pull away, and pressure's on line to get some quick laps to try and get out of the tow. But Rob Miller might have him on this one. Got the gap down to about a 10th.
130R with a tow can be a little bit hairy.
Oh, and someone went off. 2 people have gone off. That looks like Steve Greening. Steve Greening, he's managed to recover, but he's went down a lot of places there. Really bad luck for him. So that moves Michael Messenger up to 3rd, Adam Highfield up to 4th, and Milan up to 5th. As those guys are desperately trying to get the tow from each other in the background. Wonder how much strategy will come into play as we see that must be Gavin. No, it's Rob Miller. It's Rob Miller from just went off the track. He's went down the order significantly there.
I didn't catch that. Did you see how he came off?
It looks like he's just gone wide. He might have missed his braking point. We'll no doubt get a replay, I'm sure, as we join his teammate Gavin Kelly going through the S's.
So Messenger up to 2nd now then.
Yeah,
did he start 4th? Was it 4th?
Yeah, 4th or 5th, I believe. That's really unfortunate for Rob Miller there. He was right on the tail of David Line. Yeah, he's up, just gone in too wide. And, this is earlier from Ollie Walker and Steve Green, I believe. What was it? So we see Rob Miller gone in too quick to 130R. But he went in relatively unscathed.
I think Line was sort of just trying to give him room around the outside, but then they had to let off a fair amount to try and do that. Might call them out a little bit.
Yeah, to compensate for the turn. Now replay here on board Michael Messenger. Oh, he's just lost it.
Oh, he nearly took out Line there as well.
I know. Wow. And here we've got another couple of people. I think that's Steve Greening and possibly Will Burnett battling there. As we see Ollie Walker in his unfamiliar pure black livery there. And Will Burnett up to 10th. Just noting the lap times there, Michael Messenger's managed to get a sub 2 minute. That's very quick. Some of the guys, I think they can reach about the 158s, but in race conditions you're probably... Oh, and there's a lot of cars off in the background there. Possibly Steve Greening again. Will Burnett might be there as well. So the top 2 seem to have started to pull away.
The Messenger's pretty close to line though now.
Yeah, so
Couple of tenths again.
I wonder if he'll just be happy to stick behind him and try to save some fuel, or will he really push on? As we see another replay, that looks like Will Burnett's just tapped the rear end of Steve Greening, and then he's got some afters from another car there. Oliver Ettridge. Not much you could do about that, I think, but yeah, so some costly errors already early in the race. There's going to be some recovery drives for Steve Greening, and Rob Miller certainly will need to get his quick laps in. They haven't pitted yet, so they've still got their pit stop and just going to roll with the damage for now.
Quite a conservative line by line there, so he might have left himself a bit open. No, I think he's all right.
Yeah. I wonder if Michael Messenger's just happy to sit behind him.
Yeah, he looks pretty close.
Oh, he's looking for it. He's looking to throw it up the inside. It looks like he's got the job done there.
I think that's done, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think Lyons just playing a sensible game, not challenging it too much.
I think it was done there, really halfway up, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's all about the exit that you get from the final corner, really.
So we're on board Rick Barron. I think this might be Ollie Walker trying to chase him down. Ollie Walker done really well last season, and he's going to look to be one of the top challengers this season, I think, when the points are all played out. So Michael Messenger already pulled out 7 tenths almost. Now it's went down 4 tenths, but he's definitely pulling away.
Well, it doesn't look like Lyons giving up. He's fairly close to him there.
On board Rob Miller, trying to chase down Oliver Ettridge. So the stewards are going to be investigating that incident between Will Burnett, Steve Greening and Oliver Ettridge. We'll find out the results of that shortly.
It's a funny instant that, looking at it in the replay, because there was a big closing speed. I don't know whether Greening had, I don't know, sort of slowed too much or gone down a gear too early or something, or if Burnett had just gone in too hot. Oh, look at this.
Wow, that was a brave move there by Adam. And oh, they've slight bump on there, the side doors. David Lyons going to fall down the order, having to take the grass.
Luckily he found the escape road though, didn't he? Knocked over a cone.
Yeah,
Marshall going to have to fetch that now. Yeah.
Lives to fight another day. So that puts Turam Malarin up to 3rd. Oh, and Michael Messenger's lost it on his own. I think that's the 2nd time this season that has happened for him. That is really bad luck on his part. I think that's the 2nd time. I think the first time was when we were at Road America. He lost the lead down the hairpin, and he's lost it down in the first turn on Suzuka.
He's not out of it though. He's in 7th. Only a couple of seconds behind, so it wasn't catastrophic. He's still in the hunt. But now we've got McLaren 1-2.
Wow. Take a picture, it lasts longer, I think. But yeah, any one of the top 8 at the moment are, as you can see, they're all very close in the interval. And you can even argue that Rob Miller might catch them up if they battle any further.
Well, Rob Miller's just on the tail part of that train, and there's only a couple of car lengths between them.
Further down the order, we've got Keith Schooling. He's moved up to 22nd. I think he was on 25th. So let's see him move up a couple of positions. Sam Stott up to 17th. Chris White's moved, I think, from 16th up to 11th. And also Jake Weaver, his endurance teammate, also following him through the positions there. on board Malaren as he tries to bridge the gap to Adam Highfield.
So
wow, they're mighty close going through that turn.
130R is pretty much flat in these cars, but it's really, I think the conditions have got to be good, and yeah, it's a bit touch and go. And with a tow, I doubt it.
And if you're that close, you're relying on the person in front to have a sensible braking range, and they're not going to brake check you going into the what they call the Casio triangle. Oh, and that's Lee Harding going off wide in the turn 1. He's lost a couple of positions, and I think he's just managed to get ahead of David Lyne.
Yeah.
David Lyne back up to 5th.
Yeah, so he's not out of it. No, he's still in that train.
It appears as if Rob Miller has pitted, so is this strategy that he's going for the big undercut. Of course, the Degner is quite a difficult place to get on the braking. You can easily go in too fast and end up on the grass, or even worse, spinning.
Knowing the McLaren relatively well, I imagine it's probably a little bit unpredictable in the McLaren.
Yeah, I think you could be right there, Dave. So we're probably expecting the first scheduled pit stops probably in the next 15 minutes or so. That's when they'll start to come in.
So Kelly's doing well, isn't he? I mean, you know, he's still there in the lead fight.
He is. He's not out of it yet.
He's one of the drivers that's been going round and round for hours. You know, over the weekend. But yeah, he's still there.
Yeah, he's definitely keeping up with the pacey boys at the front with his striking zebra inspired livery.
Well, he's not running that though, is he? That's Rob with the zebra one, and
no, I think they're both running it this race. Yeah, because Rob has taken a pit stop, and I think he's down in 20th place at the moment.
My mistake. I'm looking at Walker. Walker's got a paint job I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Is this a replay of what happened there? Oh, maybe just a missed jump braking point, and we see Michael Messenger how he's took a little bit too much curve. It can be quite slippery on this track, but he's recovered it quite well, kept it in one piece.
Yeah, I think the track temps are up to about 27 degrees or so now, so it tends to get a little bit more slippery.
Yeah, right. As Rick Barrow making a brave move around the outside of Ollie Walker. He's kept it there. Back to the action. Michael Messenger chasing down Ollie this time.
So Ollie's another one of the guys that's been doing the endurance racing.
Yeah, so he'll be well versed on these corners and know the braking points pretty well.
He might be completely fed up with it by now. It's been around all weekend.
Yeah, I think the league had 3 teams entered in the endurance race. So that's 3 teams of 4 guys. So really good showing. Still so close at the top. Adam not managing to break away from Malaren and Barrow and Harding. I think that's Jake Weaver up to 10th place. Jason Weaver went all the way up to 12th as well. So, and Torres just went a little bit wide. He's managed to keep it on track. But he's going to lose some positions, go through the S's here. He's going to have to forfeit a bit of track position as well. David Line just stalking in the background. Oh, and Adams. Oh, this is like a curse of the race leader. Oh, and they've gone like Skittles again. Wow, there's a lot of damage there.
So that's both McLarens out, I think.
Wow, that's incredible. Really, really bad luck. It was just a case of it. He lost it on the racing line, I think. There's not much he could do, and he couldn't really get out of the way with them so close behind. So a trip to the pits and mechanics for, I think, Torre and Adam, as we see a replay on board Rick Barrow. Yeah, Rick managed to just... Yeah, it's a little bit of carnage all over that part of the track. I think that's Michael Messenger. He managed to navigate it, but the others probably have picked up a little bit of damage. We'll see on board for David Line's perspective. Yeah.
Just kind of bludgeoned his way through, really, today.
Yeah. I guess that's what they call forcing the move. But that's going to allow Kelly, who's moved all the way up to 4th. Ollie Walker and Rick Barrow are probably going to have to take a trip to the pit lane as well, as I think... Is this Stephen Greening? He's looking to make a move on Stephen Cakebread. Stephen Cakebread we haven't heard so much from this race so far, but he also completed an endurance race at Suzuka. See, he will be no slouch going around these corners. Sorry, my mistake. It's Chris Forrester there. Chris Forrester in the McLaren, new racing team for this season. So, after that carnage of the last lap, we've got Lee Harding out in front with Michael Messenger about half a second behind, and 3rd place David Line.
Well, Line was 2nd, wasn't he, after the incident, so Messenger must have overtaken him.
He might have done, yeah, you're right there, Dave. Gavin Kelly's still there. I guess he just lost a bit of time having to slow down for the incident, but I think at least his car is in one piece.
So it wasn't long ago that we saw Messenger spin off and just assumed that he was, you know, out of the race, but he's now 3/10 behind the leader.
Yeah, sure. Anything can happen, and that's why it's worthwhile in these long races not to give up, because as we've just seen, things can happen. Michael back on the charge. Lee Harding isn't a slow driver either, so you see the two BMWs go for it at the Casio triangle. Oh, and Lee's dropped into the pits. I wonder if that's scheduled. Quite a slow lap there from David Line. I wonder if he's got a little bit of aero damage, or whether he just made a mistake on one of the corners down into the 202s.
Yeah, but he's back on the rear of Messenger again, though, isn't he?
Yeah. So it's captivating that you can't take your eyes away at the moment, because the leader's changed a few times. It was bound to change again.
They've got Kelly just sitting there in 3rd position, only about a couple of seconds behind the lead.
Yeah, so podium position possibly on the books for him. Steve Greening making his way back up the order into the 11th position. He might still have his pit stop to make, however, because he's had his issues early on. One to watch out for might be Rob Miller. He's pitted early, and now I think he's got the rest of the race just with that track ahead of him.
Yeah, I mean, he had that early off and that lost him a chunk of time, but there's been so many incidents in front of him, you'd think that he'd maybe be able to catch up again now.
Yeah, we'll see how that progresses over the next 20 minutes or so. Yep, so Rob Miller, as we can see, and that's Chris Forrester behind him. Chris Forrester in 14th position at the moment. And there might be a battle on, I think it's Merrin Hugavin and Will Burnett. Those two have been quite hard to separate. I think it was in the previous race as well, or the first race of the season. Keith Schooling making his pit stop. So quite a few recovery drives on the board here.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So Greening hasn't done his pit stop, is that right? Still got it to do?
I don't believe he has, no. I think he's went off the track 2 times, so has fell down the order a little bit more than what he would have liked to. David Line, I can just see he's about 1 second from Michael Messenger now.
Yeah, Messenger's pulling away a little bit at the moment.
With all these incidents, that's promoted Jake Weaver up to 5th, Chris White up to 6th, and Jason Weaver up to 7th. Of course, they will have their pit stops to take, but take the glory while it lasts, guys.
So Walker's taken his stop, and he's down in 10th.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same with Miller. And Harding, of course, as well.
Yeah. Sam Stott, as we see, I think that might be the ledge in the background off the track. Quite distinguishable in the Mercedes this time. Sam Stott and Tur Malaren teammates are in 18th and 19th, but I think they might have made their stops now.
Oh, Malaren's, so it seems that Malaren's still in the race then, but he's a fair way down now after that incident.
He is indeed, yeah. So these, and we have a points penalty from stewards to Will Burnett. He's not having the best GT championships this season. I think he's had a couple of penalty points deducted against him. He'll be looking to keep those down over the second half of the season. Now, these two here, Stephen Greening and I think it's could be, is it? As you see Rick Barrow go wide there. These two might not want to battle for position. They might just want to stay behind each other and pick up places from the guys who crashed obviously earlier on. But we see Ollie Walker in 10th. As we're on board, Will Burnett is going past Chris Forrester. Went on the inside, and Chris Forrester's went in too hot into turn 1 under the braking. But I think he's got quite a way to go until he loses another position, so he won't lose anything from that.
And Kelly's still pretty much keeping up with Line and Messenger. He's just maybe dropped 2 or 3 tenths, but he's pretty much pegging them.
Oh, wow. That is Tur Malaren off in the background. Going in, I think he's doing another James Bond turn, like we've seen with one of the Weavers at Road America. He's kept it in one piece, I think, but or possibly not, he's went into the pits. As we're going to see a replay. Yeah, he's took too much of the curb. Has he clipped the barrier? No, he hasn't.
Wow.
Well, that is certainly one of the best entrances to the pits I have seen on Suzuka so far. Might as well go in with style.
I think with 130R, if you find yourself running wide over the curb, you just got to kind of like just relent and just go even further over the curb onto the other side of the tracks. You just get you just get an off track over there. You don't get to slow down.
I think David Lyon has now went into the pits and Chris White as well, and I think we're going to see Charlie Langridge take to the pits as well. So those three taking their mandatory pit stop. This is probably around about the peak time to go in, as Lyon comes just out in front of Ollie Walker and Steve Greening.
Wow, they've caught up with him quick. Do you think coming out the pits that the tyres cool down a little bit? Do you think you momentarily have a slight disadvantage?
I think you do, of course, and you're building up pace going down that home stretch. You've only got a limited run coming out the pit straight, and you obviously don't want to go in too quick on your first corner out of the pits. Whoa, taking a bit of a corner there, David Lyon, but Ollie Walker takes the advantage of that.
That was a good move for me through Degner 1. That's a hairy place to do an overtake, but they both made it through.
Yeah, as we've seen Adam Highfield lose it through there. It looks like Adam Highfield might be out, unfortunately. So, just the top 5 to make their pit stop there. Looks like Michael Messenger just came into the pits along with Gavin Kelly.
So I think this is going to be hurting Lyon's, delta to Messenger a little bit. I think Messenger's going to be a fair distance in front now.
I think he might be. I think he'll be coming out of the pits just as they go through the Castle Triangle. And indeed, that is right. All to play for, though. As we're on board Rick Barrow. Wow, and Dave Lyon just trying to defend the inside there of Steve Greening, doing a great job there.
But he's losing touch with Ollie now, isn't he, with all this defensive driving, so yeah. And does Greening need to do a pit stop? I mean,
it's smart that he's been in the pits, but he must have came in very, very early.
So he couldn't have put in enough fuel to finish?
I don't think so. That's my suspicions anyway. But he's still battling.
Oh, a little touch
probably
there.
Not the best position there to. And David Lyon's lost it. Can he keep out the wall? He does indeed. He's done his disappearing act. He might have reappeared, I think.
Yeah, it looks like he's still in the race.
That might go to the stewards. We'll see. So.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It looked like. Yeah, we'll see it here. Yeah, it's just a little tap.
It is a difficult corner to judge the braking point on, and as we've seen already, there have been a couple of spins on Degner.
Well, it looked to me like Greening, after tapping Lyon, slowed down a little bit to try and let Lyon back on, but then Lyon was completely off the circuit, so he just had to go off.
Yeah. So Rob Miller all the way back up to 6th position. So it's a great recovery drive. He'll be looking to make up at least a couple of more positions.
Well, with all the incidents that have happened, I mean, I still wouldn't bet against Miller winning it, really.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there, Dave. Gavin Kelly doing really, really well. Just trying to hold off Ollie Walker, so that's going to be a great battle between those two. But they probably don't want to battle too hard, because if they work together they can probably catch Lee Harding, I think. He might have a bit of pace on him. Yeah, so Greenings went down the order, so I guess he's went back into the pits. Rob Miller really pushing it to the limit. He's carrying a lot of speed through Degner. Oh, and who's that off in the background? That might be a back marker. I think that might be the ledge. Ledge up to 20th position.
So Harding's back in second. Kelly's up to third after Lines incident before. Walks up to fourth, but he's only half second behind Kelly now.
Yeah, so. And we've got one of our American drivers, Mitchell Day. He's in 19th position, so he's made up a few positions during the race. Well done to him. So Ledge kindly lets the front runners through. Rob not looking to make the move into the Casio Triangle. He might look into the bottom of turn 1.
Yeah, your best bet is just to try and get the best exit you possibly can to have a go here, really.
Oh, and the forefront here we see Ollie Walker and Gavin Kelly go hammer and tongs. Oh, there's a small clip there. I think that's just part of racing that, but
yeah, I don't think that touch sent Gavin off.
No.
No.
I think it was just the speed he was carrying into the corner. He's relinquished the position, but he'll look to make it back. And because of that battling, they have lost a bit of time to Rick Barrow and Bob Miller. So as we see, the stewards have given a points penalty to Stephen Greening for that collision with David Lyon.
So Lyon's all the way down now in 8th, and he's only a few seconds ahead of Burnett. 4 seconds.
Yeah, and in front of him is Ollie Ettridge, so it's still possible to make up a position. Reece Creighton, we haven't heard so much from this race. I can just see he's went into the pit lane, so perhaps he's not had pace around this track. I know he has had pace on the other tracks, but perhaps some incidents or something went along the line we haven't seen.
There was that earlier incident where, was it into Spoon, on the entrance to Spoon? He dropped it on the curb and then crashed into Hoogervin.
You're right. So we've got about 9 minutes left. It's going to be a close battle between these four, or battling for that final podium position.
Kelly's not giving up.
No, he certainly isn't. He's right on the tail of Ollie. And Ollie's famed for his defensive line, so he's going to have his work cut out. Will we see anyone buckle under the pressure and spin or go off track for the next 4 or 5 laps?
Well, let's hope it's not Messenger again.
yeah, he's a bit of a cursed position for him.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a couple of seconds there, but Harding has caught up about half a second or so in the last few laps. Really
pushing those track limits, getting the most out of the track. Yeah, I think you can see Rob's got a lot of pace compared to these guys. Just needs to pick his moment. And there's no better place than 130R, which is just coming up.
Oh, he just lost the back end there slightly.
Yeah, that's going to ruin his run. So he's going to have to save it again for turn 1, I think. But Gavin Kelly look to make a move in the inside of the Casio Triangle, or he's going to look around the outside. Thinks better of it. Ollie straight down to the pit wall.
That's yeah, you can't go much further right than that.
Yeah. Rob Miller just happy to sit in behind and let them battle while he makes up the lost time from the previous lap. Jake Weaver up to 10th position. Looks set to score some points. Chris White up to 11th, but he's trying to hold off Stephen Greening. And Jason Weaver is up to 13th. Oh, and Gavin's. Wonder if he got an off track there. He's lost a lot of time. Oh, and he's managed to hold it, but he's going to lose a lot of time for the guys there. That's really unfortunate for Gavin. He was doing really well up until that point. As we see Stephen Greening on the tail, I think, of Chris White. Chris holds him off on there. He'll probably relinquish his position over the next couple of corners. I think Chris knows that Steve is no match for him.
Do you think it's possible that Greening might be carrying a little bit of damage though?
He is indeed.
Possibly. His lap times looked alright though. So yeah.
White's probably let him go and just use the toad.
So, oh, it looks like Lines got past Edris then, from up into 7th.
Yeah, so I wonder if Edris made a mistake, or whether Line has just been very well. That lap time suggests he might have went off track at 2:05. Ollie Walker desperately hanging on to P3. Still close up top. Michael Messenger and Lee Harding only separated by about 1.5 seconds or so. But I think with only 4 minutes left, it might be a hard gap to recoup. Fascinating battle between these three. Whoa, that's a small love tap there by Rick Barrow onto Ollie Walker. Oh, and Rick Barrow's got a drive through for too many incident points. He's going to have to go into the pits in what will be possibly the penultimate lap.
That's a shame.
He was having a really good race up until then.
I mean, after hitting Ollie there as well, it looked like he backed off as well to not try and take advantage out of it.
Yeah. So it's going to be a two-man shootout between Ollie Walker and Rob Miller for 3rd place, it looks like. Might just be too far out of Gavin Kelly's contention.
Line's about 4 seconds behind Kelly now, but that's probably too much.
Yeah.
For 2.5 minutes.
As Rick Barrow comes in to serve the penalty. So it looks like Canford are going to score some good points haul this race. And that's Chris Forrester just letting the front runners go past. That's really nice of him. Chris Forrester sitting in 17th. Keith Schooling in 18th, and I think that's Mitchell Day in 19th with the ledge in 20th. Everyone else below that appears to be out of the race.
Miller fancies a podium here.
He does. He smells something on Ollie's rear bumper, and he's putting the pressure on now. This could be the final lap, or it could be the penultimate one. I'm not quite sure. Yeah. And these two, I think, were racing together in the same endurance team, so they probably know their strengths and weaknesses.
Rob's a little bit far back there, but see how he does.
It's only half a second. He's still in the tow.
I mean, sometimes you can find through 130R that you can be too close, right? And then you have to back out of it before you get to 130R, and then you want to be a little bit further back.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So Willie looked to make the move into turn 1 instead. As we see Barney waving the white flag, that means that's the last lap of the race now taking place. Ollie, if he goes any further right, he is into the spectators. Has he compromised his run into the S's?
Rob looks extremely fast through turn 1, but that doesn't really help with an overtake.
No, it's almost impossible to get an overtake at this part of the track. As we see on board with Rick Barrow, he's chasing down Jake Weaver. Jake's actually in 8th, so Jake's having an outstanding race. As we see Robert Miller, he is pretty much glued to the tail of Ollie Walker. There's battles going on all over the field, left, right and centre. Oh, and could Rob Miller have the run on here? And we've also got Rick Barrow trying to find his way around Jake as well at the same time. Jake's gone wide. It's going to be down to who can get the best run out of this corner for Ollie and Rob. Oh, it's going to be so close. This might be last man standing as they go into the Casio triangle.
So what Ollie needs to do here is just go really wide. Just, if you've got a few instant points left, just use them all now.
Yep. Oh, they're both going.
That's what he did. That's exactly what he did.
He's used his allocation, and congratulations to Michael Messenger. He does get the win, and very well done to Lee Harding, getting a very respectable 2nd place, not too far behind him. So who's going to win? And it does look like Ollie Walker does indeed take the 3rd place. Rob Miller, well done. Great battling with him for 4th, and Gavin Kelly, superb result for him in 5th. David Lyne 6th, and Ollie Ettridge, well done to him in 7th. There seems to have been a crash. Rick Barrow at the Casio triangle between him and Jake Weaver. Jake Weaver took his position back, and I think it appears as if Chris White has just nabbed 9th place on the line by 0.03 of a second. So there we see Mike Messenger doing the lap of honour. Great race. What do you make of that, Dave?
Well, a lot happened.
It really did. As we see a replay, I think this is the final corner with Rick Barrow and Jake Weaver. I think a bit of netcode there. That was really unfortunate. And then we see an onboard of Chris White. He was counting his lucky stars there that something happened on the final corner. I think he just nabbed 9th place on the line, picking up some extra points. So we have the race results. Mike Messenger in 1st place, with Lee Harding in 2nd, Ollie Walker taking the podium as well. Rob Miller in 4th, Gavin Kelly in 5th, Lyne in 6th, Ettridge in 7th, Jake Weaver in 8th, White in 9th, and Rick Barrow rounds up top 10. So, good showing there from Cannon Forder. Only one Rumble Bees making the point score, with Adam Highfield unfortunately crashing out. Some of the lower guys like Chris Forrester, Keith Schooling, Mitchell Day, Lawrence Ernst-Jenkin, those guys collapsed down, but nonetheless finishing the race. So good racing from them.
Yeah, I think sort of about half of the top guys really sort of finished the race, and the other half fell off.
Absolutely, and that shows the importance of trying to keep it clean throughout the race. So Ollie Walker sitting on top with 136, very close at the top with Michael Messenger only 2 points behind. Andris wasn't in the race this time round, but so it really is wide open. Stephen Greening, 114 points, he will definitely still be in contention, and David Lyne, probably my dark horse if he can keep a good run of results together. It's all to play for with 3 races still left in the season to go. Jake Weaver making up a couple of positions with that good result today. Merrin Hugavin, I've seen better from him. He'll look to make up some good points, as I think we go to Bathurst next. Stephen Cakebread, he wasn't in the racing this round, so he's dropped a few positions as well. Bathurst next. Have you been there before, Dave?
I've never driven it, no. Or I've seen some footage of it, and it just looks like it's weirdly all downhill. There's no uphill. The entire thing goes downhill.
Yeah, it really is from a different universe. Risky Race in blue leading the way. Rumble Bees in second, and Cannon Forder in third. Cannon Forder making a remarkable 4 places after this race. A very good showing from them. But all could also play for, as I said, with 3 races still to go in the championship. So that rounds up race 3 of season 3 in our GT3 championships. If you want to come racing with us, hit us up on our Discord, subscribe to our YouTube channel, visit our website or even our Facebook page. You're more than welcome. We've got new drivers of all abilities. We look forward to seeing you on track. So that wraps us up for Suzuka. Next will be Down Under in Bathurst. So thanks for joining, Dave. Do you want to say your goodbyes?
Yeah, cheers. See you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, see you all next time.